Peace, love, and light. Welcome to another episode of The Daily Guide, The Daily Vibe, hosted by yours truly, Pretty Boss. I'm recording this message on a wonderful Friday, January 12th at 7:22 p.m. 2 could be a number standing out to you, 222, 7, perhaps even 12, 22. All of these numbers could be significant, could be birthday numbers. It could be particular times or days of the month, or it just could be numbers that you're seeing that is letting you know that there's something in particular in your life that you're coming into alignment with. This is prophetic guidance, spiritual gems for those of you who are chosen, and for those of you who've been chosen for a time such as this. Many of you should be so proud of yourself because you've come a very, very, very long way. And even if there's some things that you're dealing with, even if there's still some things that you're working out within yourself, one thing is for sure, two things for certain: you are not who you used to be. You've evolved immensely. The thing is to continue to be patient with yourself. Be patient with your process. Because everything that has occurred in your life has been purposeful. Your path was already chosen. It was already destined. It was already determined. You are the prototype of Romans 8:28, that all things work together for good for those who love God and have been called according to the purpose of God. See, there's two variables in that statement. It says all things work together. Who do all things work together for, though? For those who love God and have been called according to the purpose of the Most High. That's who all things work together for. This is why, as we start to heal, as we start to grow, as we start to gain wisdom, those who are chosen, that is, you start to realize that literally everything had purpose. This is making me think of the movie that I recommended the other day on another message that I call Slumdog Millionaire. If you're listening to this on Patreon and you haven't heard that, listen to that message. Also, watch that movie. It's a Bollywood film called Slumdog Millionaire, and it's a beautiful example of the type of energy that I'm talking about for the chosen ones. I'm talking about every little thing that you went through. You're going to see the full moment of that in this next era of your life. You're going to be in specific situations, places, dealing with specific people, things, challenges where you're going to have the answer. You're going to have the solution. You're going to know this is exactly who I'm supposed to be talking to. This is exactly where I'm supposed to be, because this is the piece of the puzzle that was put together and started being constructed long ago in my life. For those of you who this is for, there's always this question of how much of our life is determined by free will and how much of it is determined by fate. That's always a question. It's like, where do we draw the line between free will and fate? Yes, we're told that we have free will, but then there's also this thing called destiny. There's this thing called fate. And the line that is drawn is, who are you? What type of person are you? Have you been called? Or are you one of the few that has been chosen? I'll tell you, when you're chosen, you have a very particular fate and destiny over your life. So, this is a very beautiful message that I have for those of you, for my chosen ones, okay? Chosen one energy, star seed energy, light worker energy, divine being energy, stronger than ever right now. Like, this is truly your year. This is the year that you will shine. This is the year that you will rise. This is the year that you will come out of the depths of darkness. And what I mean by that is essentially you've been hidden away for so long that at one point in time you forgot. You forgot who you are. You forgot that there was a very particular destiny over your life. Even if you didn't know. For many of you, even as a child, you knew there was something about you. For those of you who I'm speaking to, there was something about you from a very young age. And you knew this even if you couldn't put it into words. You had something. And what it was a light that was uninhibited. It was a knowing, a deep down knowing, even if you didn't have the words, even if you didn't have the specific knowledge of, okay, this is my purpose, even if you weren't thinking in those terms. You know, when we're children, we're children. When you're a child, you think as a child. But the thing about it is there was something inside of you and something about you that was very strong and very deliberate from a very young age. And as we've spoken about before, some of the things that you went through made you forget this. The thing is, you've healed so much. The thing is, your heart is back online. The thing is, your heart is going to lead the way for you this year, this era, in ways that it never has before, because you're no longer going to be afraid of what your heart is telling you, because you know that you can trust your heart, because your heart has been purified. Your heart has been refined. Your heart has been reestablished. And these things have happened due to the healing that you've went through, due to the healing that you've experienced. Some of you may be listening to this because, remember, I always say, we're all going in the same direction. And what I mean by we're all going in the same direction, I'm talking about chosen ones. We're all heading to the same destination. Divine purpose, fulfillment, peace, love, joy. However, we're not all necessarily at the exact same point of the process. So think about if we're all going to the same college, and let's say we're all, going to get a degree, we're going to graduate. Someone might be a freshman, another might be a sophomore, others might be juniors, others might be seniors. So there are certain classes, there are certain levels that you have to go through before you get to graduation. Some of you that are listening to this, you're at an earlier stage of this process. You could be freshman year, sophomore year. And even as I say this, I mean this quite literally. In terms of my analogy, the fullness of what I'm about to explain, some of you, and this is a few of you that are listening, this is going to be something that comes into full fruition for you within the next 2 to 3 to 4 years. But for those of you who are seniors, some of you have graduated. Some of you have passed the most critical test. That is the test of your lifetime. That is the test of being thrown into a world of darkness and seeing if you could rise as the light still. That is being thrown into the pit and seeing if you could rise as the champion, see if you could rise as the warrior. That is being thrown into hate and to see if you still come out as love. That's the ultimate test. So some of you, this is where you're heading. Even for some, it might not be the next 2, 3, 4 years. It could be that this is going to come to full fruition for you the next 2 to 3 to 4 months. Everybody that's listening to this message, you are much further along the way than you realize. For those of you who it might be like, okay, well, maybe this is something that's going to come to full fruition over the next 4 years. It could be that you're listening to this and you feel like you're at the very beginning stages of revelation in your healing journey. But the thing is, this is going to happen relatively quickly for you. Some of you may hear 4 years, especially depending on your age, and think that sounds like a long time. But anybody who has experience in life and has been around for some time knows that 4 years comes and goes in the blink of an eye. And even the type of healing that we're talking about here, for a small percentage of you, again, this is the majority of you that are listening to this are senior graduate level, okay? To be clear. But there are going to be a few people that hear this message and they're at the beginning stages of this revelation and this journey. And even if this healing happens to you within the next 4 years, that is relatively quick, because some people, this takes 10 years. This takes over a decade. Some people go through a lifetime and still never receive the type of healing and get on their divine path of destiny the way that you are destined to in this life. Now, let's get back to the fullness of this message. For those of you, your perspective of life is getting ready to shift. And when I say perspective of life, I don't even necessarily mean your perspective of the world and what's going on in the world and its inhabitants. I'm talking about your perspective of life, because see, life in this world is two different things. We have life in this world, but I'm talking about life. A lot of what we witness in this world is death. Even the essence of coming here, the minute you're born is the minute that you're dying. The minute you're born is the minute that you're getting closer to death. You see what I'm saying? The longer we live, that's where we're headed. So everything is already decaying in this illusion that we live in anyway. But I'm not talking about your perspective of the world is going to shift. Your perspective of life. And one thing about life is it's eternal. You're about to, if you haven't already, start experiencing life in a new way. Realizing, one, that life is not something that can be given or taken away from you. Like that is your gift. You have been given the gift of life. Jesus Christ. You've been given the gift of life. Okay. You are a light being. You came into a place that it was created to destroy people like you. And it didn't. What it did was it made you stronger. It made you wiser. It gave you a certain level of humility, gratitude, grace. And it made you a better version of who you've ever been prior to this life. It matured you. It's like you're an adult now. And I'm not talking about because of age. I'm talking about on a soul level, family. You're an adult. You passed the greatest test. The lessons that you learned, especially in this lifetime, that's why some of you may feel like, why so many things though, pretty boss? Like why I understand we have to learn lessons and yada yada yada. But why was my life lesson after lesson, betrayal after betrayal? Why was it so hard? Why did it always seem like it was an uphill battle though, pretty boss? Like why didn't I get my breath of fresh air? I've been trying for a very long time. I've been doing the best that I can. I've been being a relatively decent person to the best of my ability. Pretty boss. I've been keeping God first in all things. I've always held my integrity. I've always been true to me. I've always been true to truth. I don't understand why all of these things back to back to back to back. And the reason for this is because this lifetime was meant to give you the greatest gift on a soul level. You've graduated. You're mature. You're an adult. You're not a neophyte. You are a sage on a soul level. You are more powerful. You're more strong than you've ever been. You're to a place, and what this life has produced in you, and for some of you is producing, is a being that is unmovable. One that can face any circumstance and not be moved, not even in the slightest. And when I say moved, I mean on the inside. One that can be placed in any circumstance and literally rises like a phoenix. One that almost seems to levitate and be above any circumstance or condition that you put them in. One that cannot be defiled by circumstances of any realm. You have been sent to a planet, to a place, to a world, to a dimension that is a prison planet. And the chains have not been able to keep you. You broke it. You're free. And again, the thing here about life is you're going to have a new perspective on life. You're going to notice that it's an eternal gift that you have. And you're going to experience the different dimensions of life. And we're not talking about this world. Again, we're talking about life. This reality that we're in, this matrix, it's an illusion. It's not life, it's death. You're going to have a perspective and connect with the eternal in a way that you never have. You're connecting with something that no one could ever take away from you. This is making me think of scripture when it says, do not fear the one that can kill the body, but fear the one that can destroy the soul in hell. Slight paraphrase, but that's what it says. That's in the New Testament. Think about that. Think about that. The things that we're taught about life and spirit and soul and all of these things, those are all ideas. And there are certain truths that I have, truths that I hold, revelations that I have that I'm not even here to impose that on anybody. But what I'm trying to tell you is you're going to come into these truths, to this wisdom, and to these revelations for yourself. You're not going to need anybody or anything to tell you anything about it. And a lot of what I will say is a lot of what has been taught, a lot of what has been told, it's fallacy, it's half truths. And the true nature of reality, the true nature of spirit, the true nature of life and death, it will be revealed to each individual. Those of you who are listening to this, you have the gift of life, the gift of eternal life. All right. And I'll leave it there. I just want you to understand that is the greatest gift, because this shall pass away, but you won't. Okay. You've passed the ultimate test. Everything, for some of you, there might be certain things that you experienced in the past that did hurt you, and those things, those valleys, right? And some of you still may have answers that you're seeking. Some of you might still have like, well, why? You're going to find every answer that you seek. It will come to you. This is a new time for you. This is a new world. Even though we are existing here in this reality, you're not going to be moving inside of the matrix. Okay. This is making me think of the 48 Laws of Power when it says, think as you do, but behave like others. To the outside onlooker, it's going to look like you're just in the world like anybody else, but truly you're not. And even the way that your guidance and your blessings and your prosperity and love comes into your life, the way that things work out for you, the way that things flow for you are going to be atypical. You know, it makes me think of even when it talks about Yeshua walking on water. That's, even if we look at it from an analogy standpoint, that was atypical. There was nobody walking on water. Only Yeshua did that. Yeshua was doing things that the people of his time, it was impossible to them. This is how your life is going to unfold in this new season. This is where the idea of patience comes in, because, again, some of you are in this healing phase and you're closer than you think, even if it is coming a little bit, couple years down the line. It's going to come very fast. And for some of you, you're already there at the finish line, or you're already in this new era. You've already passed this final and ultimate test. And you're going to see that literally nothing in your life moves typically. Now, I said this to say this doesn't mean that you're going to necessarily have to live in high stress situations. You know how you can be going through things and it's like, man, I really need God to come through. I need a miracle to check. I need something to happen. And it's like you go from stress to then you get a breakthrough and it's like, oh, I can't make this up. That's one way. And many of us have already experienced life in that way, where it's like, you know, things that we weren't qualified for, things that just was whatever it was. Then we saw some type of favor come over our lives and we were able to get what we needed anyway. We've always been favored. But what I mean by this is, for one, you're going to see your life balance out to where you're not going to have worldly issues, the regular things. Even when we talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, all of those basic needs, that's not going to be a struggle for you. Food, shelter, clothing, you know, water, protection, finances, house, transportation, all of those things, you know, even when we're talking about debt, all of these things, taxes, none of these things are going to be an issue for you. And if there's anything that even if you're having any of those issues currently, these things are all leveling out this year. Trust and believe and have faith in the fact that this is going to be a year where you get your justice. All cases are resolved. Nothing is lingering over you because you've set yourself free. So anything that has manifested as a type of bondage, whether it be financially, whether it be health wise, whether it be relationship situations or arrangements that you're stuck in or can't get out of, whatever it may or may not be for you, you're going to see all of these things resolved by the end of this year. And again, I'm talking to those of you who you've passed the ultimate test. When you're not bound within yourself, then none of those binds can exist outside of you. What I mean by atypically is, this is things that are going to happen in unorthodox ways, from a place of peace, from a place of surrender, from a place of going with the flow. Many of you, and this is so funny because I don't think I mentioned this yet. I'm 24 minutes into this message and I didn't even mention the word that just kept coming to my mind as I meditated before doing this. It was love. And then I kept hearing that LL Cool J song, I need love. But love. Love is patient, caring. Love is kind. Love is felt most when it's genuine. And you are love. It's so funny that, again, the experiences that you've had, relatives, friends, ex-romantic partners, strangers, it's amazing the type of hate that you've experienced, the type of envy, the type of jealousy, the type of sabotage on behalf of others that was a case of returning evil for good. And for some of you, and at a time, you just didn't want to be who you are. Some of you could have felt in life like you're naive or something is wrong with you because you don't process and think like these people. Some of you could be like, man, I'm so dumb. I should have moved like this, or I should have known better, or how could I be, so gullible? Or how could I have trusted this person or been like this? I should have been more like this, or I should have been. And the thing is, that's not who you are, though. You're love. And many of you, in order to survive for a point in time, especially during your healing process, you had to embrace the energy of some of these people that hurt you. Some of these people who taught you and showed you the face of hate. You had to learn how to be a little bit more analytical, a little bit more logical, a little bit more disassociated and disconnected from certain people, places, and situations in order to keep yourself level, in order to protect yourself, in order to guard your heart. Scripture says, guard your heart with all vigilance, for from it flows the springs of water. I think that's from Proverbs 4:22 or 4:23. For from it flows the springs of life. And the thing here is, it's really good because it's important to know the nature of people. Makes me think of scripture again when Yeshua said he entrusted himself to no man because he knew the nature of man. But Yeshua still had love. Yeshua made the ultimate sacrifice for the chosen ones, for the children of God, for the world. The thing here is, you are now a triple threat because you have perspective, you have awareness, you have breadth, you have depth in terms of experience and understanding. So now in this new era of your life, when you're choosing love, this is coming from a conscious place, not just because that's all of who you are and all that you knew, especially coming into this realm, but now you're choosing love consciously. It comes from a place of power because the type of love that you're going to be experiencing and expressing and reflecting now, this is going to come from a place of, first of all, choice. Okay. And this is going to come from a place of wisdom. This is going to come from a place of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. This is not going to be the type of love that can be used against you. It's making me think of Yeshua. Yeshua sacrificed himself. Think about the people that was berating Yeshua on that cross. Think about what he went through, his final moments in the flesh. And he was sacrificing for himself for the very people that were betraying him, berating him, destroying him, destroying his flesh. But he had an understanding. One of the things he said is, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. See, this is next level love. And when I speak about this type of love that I'm speaking about, what I'm speaking from is a place of truth. Okay. If I could give a quick definition on how I define love, love is truth. And you have that. Some of you that are listening are discovering that. You're harnessing that. And it's because of that that you will not be able to be moved. You will not be able to be swayed. You will not be able to be manipulated. You're going to know the nature of every person that comes into your life. It's like even Yeshua already knew Judas was going to betray him, for example. You're not going to be on the outside of anything because this is not the love is blind type of love. Y'all know what I'm saying? You know how they say love is blind, but that's a different type. That's that 3D loving. We're not talking about 3D love. We're talking about the highest form of love. And love is truth, and it's not ignorance. So you're coming into a season of life where you're going to know the nature of people. You're going to truly be able to see through people. And even with that being said, more importantly than that, you're going to witness and recognize that the people that you're going to be interacting with in this new era are going to be people who genuinely love as you do and as you were and as you are. And when I say that, I mean, remember, we're talking about you came into this planet as pure love, pure light. And this world that would do anything to destroy a person like that. But it didn't destroy you. You actually conquered it. It's making me think of even Yeshua. He conquered, that's what he did. He conquered death. When he was crucified and resurrected, he came back with the keys. This is the same process that you went through. And you ascended through your heart. You didn't get pulled down to the depths. You didn't become like them. You didn't turn like them. Family, that's the ultimate victory. This world wanted to change you. This world wanted to change your destiny. It wanted to strip it away from you. It wanted to take away your identity so that you become a lost slave here on this prison planet. And it did not accomplish its mission because you passed the test. You got the key. You're going to start realizing that you receive guidance from a completely different place. Y'all know that I emphasize meditation, prayer, and definitely meditation again. Make sure that you're doing that daily. We haven't done 30 days to success yet in 2024. 30 days to success is still in the building. Believe that. There's some things that I'm working with to reformat 30 days to success and have it automated for those who are new coming in that wants to experience 30 days to success. But as I said on Patreon, we're going to be doing multiple different things this year. So I have to make room for that. However, we still got some very tangible new things coming in regards to 30 days to success, doing what we've already done with it, but taking it to new heights. But with that being said, even if we're not doing 30 days to success, and the reason I bring that up is because even on that podcast, I always emphasize the importance of that daily routine. And one of the things that I always recommend is meditation. Continue to do that. This is the things that are important to us as light workers. These are the things that keeps us tapped into the essence and the place of where we come from. Meditation allows to help us disconnect from all of these exterior things and illusions of this realm. It helps to tap you back into that pure space. Even as I said yesterday, I did a float pod, and it was the most incredulous experience for me. I felt like I was floating in the galaxy. I got out of there feeling like if I really wanted to, I could just lift off and fly in real life. I've never felt anything to that magnitude before. And the thing about this is so funny. Thank you, Holy Spirit. That's a manifestation and a clue towards what's to come, because that's not the only way to feel like that. But what you're going to see is you're going to start coming across people, places, circumstances, things, dreams, tools that help you tap into your dimension in more ways with greater frequency than you ever have. And this is going to give you access to that which the lay person, the called person, doesn't have access to that which the world doesn't have access to, because you can't reach these things living in the program and the construct of the matrix. Back to the message about patience is what I want to say about that again, just to re-emphasize and to conclude that message is there's no rush. I remember when we went to the Bahamas. I went to the Bahamas when I was like 20. I love the Bahamas. Still one of my favorite places to go. One of the few places that I actually care to go anytime. I would always pull up on the Bahamas. I just loved it. We went to Nassau. And I remember when we would show up places, sometimes we'll be behind a little bit, running late, quote unquote. Y'all know how that is for some people, right? And every time we'll get there, I remember, every time we'll get to a place, I'll be like, oh, my bad that we're running behind or whatever. And I remember they always would say, no worries, like, you good, like, no worries, all is well. And I was like, man, this is the only place in the world that I've ever been that me moving the way that I move is natural and it's not a problem. It's not about me being late. I always arrive right on time. Everything is everything. That's how I felt. That was my experience when I was in the Bahamas in Nassau, and I was really out there with the people. So when we're talking about patience, this is the type of energy for you to embrace, like no worries, no rush. Even when we look at the construct of this year, it's January 12th, 8 p.m. on the clock. As I say that, and I've been telling y'all, this is an 8 year. Things that we do, everything that we sow immediately will reap. This is another reason we don't have to rush, because this is a year that things quickly come back around. So you want to move like a ninja. You want to move smooth. You want to move like a master. We don't have to be rambunctious out here. We don't have to move like a child learning how to walk. We can be graceful. We can be patient. We can sit like the lion, waiting on the opportunity to pounce and catch his prey on sight. There's a lot of things, and a lot of people have done different things this year. People have been going crazy in 2024. And what I mean by that, I'm talking about artists, okay? There's some viral moments that have popped off. There's one that I just witnessed today that posted 18 hours ago. I'm not even going to mention it. No free promo. But people are really trying to come into 2024 on whatever terms and time that they on. People are really trying to make a statement in 2024. And even with that being said, what I have to say here for you is what you're going to create by the end of this year. Those of you who are tapped into what I'm talking about, you will have created something that trumps every viral moment of the beginning of this year. It reminds me again of that tortoise in the hare type energy. Think about some of these people and some of these situations that are coming out the gate, tension, boom, running laps, coming into 24, bussing. That's not even no diss or anything. Like, hey, do what you do. It's very entertaining to me. But you're going to see that by the time you get that lap, those who this is for, the things that you're creating is going to trump any viral moment. Don't get caught up in that. Be very patient with your process, because what you've been doing, what you've been working on internally and externally, you're going to create something that stands the test of time and continues to build a very strong momentum long after all of these viral moments and instant gratification moments fade away and are long forgotten. Some people have to do things for shock value in order to stay relevant. And then there are those who build dynasties that is not easily knocked over. Those who leave legacies. Those who create new paradigms. This is the type of energy that you're being led to embrace, because you are going to create something of that nature and of that stature. You're going to rise, family, almost seemingly from a place of nowhere. You've been hidden for a very long time. And part of this, some of you, and I've said this before, but some of you are literally and were literally, both were and are, meant to be stars. Okay? Meant to be seen by the world. Meant to be that lamp on the tabletop that all can see. And many of you have been hidden. Many of us have been hidden. And the thing about this is, you are hidden because there's so many different levels of spiritual warfare. There's so many different levels of programs. There's so many different levels of the weapons, the enemy's devices. And if you were put in certain positions too soon, you would have been destroyed because of your pure nature, because of your pure essence. And you weren't worth the risk. You couldn't be risked, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't know if I said that right, but what I'm trying to say is you could not be sacrificed in that way. Your purpose is too great to have let it be taken away from you for superficial reasons. So the thing about it is, many of you have been hidden away for a very long time. Many of you are even in a place in your life where you really love and embrace solitude. Many of you do know who you are now, and you still love to be to yourself. You're creating your own paradigm. You're creating your own island. You could care less who understands, who joins you, who doesn't. You're not even here to save the world no more. Okay? And the thing about this is, you're suddenly going to burst forth from this cave that you've been living in. It's like you're going to go from being unknown to known. And this is going to be something that feels like it happens overnight. And when this happens, you're going to be the one that bursts out. You're not going to be able to contain yourself from taking the actions or doing the thing that's going to put you online. Again, many of you are healing. If you haven't, this is going to be the year that you experience your full circle healing in a way that you never have. And again, this is because you're going to be experiencing and having a completely different perspective of life due to this healing. This year is also a year that you're going to see where, so long as you go with the flow, so long as you continue to trust God, trust the Most High, trust the divine, and know that things are always lining up for you and keeping that alignment with love, with God, with truth, you're going to see that it's like you're taken care of this year. Like, you're provided for. Jehovah Jireh, you're going to be provided for. I'm talking about quite literally. I mean, you're going to be gifted. It's going to feel like, you know how if you have a child or something, or you're taking care of a kid, and you take care of the kid. A good parent or a good guardian is going to take care of that kid, provide the kid with everything. It's not going to be like, oh, you didn't work today, you're not going to eat today. Like, no, you're going to feed the child, you're going to take care of the child, give the child love, nourish the child, teach the child what it needs, provide everything to that child. This is how you're going to be taken care of this year. Like, I'm talking when I quite literally mean that solutions are going to be coming to you. People, like, you're going to be like, where did you come from? I didn't even inquire about this. I do need this service though. You're giving it to me for free. You're just doing this for me, like, off the humbug. And this is part of what I'm talking about, those unorthodox ways. And again, it's also when we talk about that patience, where having patience with yourself, because there is going to be a certain aspect of you that is not used to this. And if you get into your mind, you could be confused and start feeling like, well, what did I do to deserve this? Or what's going on? Or maybe this is too good to be true. Or it could start to backfire if you don't realize, first of all, this is how you was always meant to experience life. This is what you always deserve. You always deserve that type of treatment. You always deserve to be provided for, to be protected, to be loved, to be gifted. So anytime this year when you start to feel insecure due to the blessings and the favor and the help that is coming through you to whoever God decides to use as a vessel in your life, you got to make sure that you push through those insecurities. Even in regards to things that you're going to be led to do, some of you are going to have some really awesome and excellent opportunities in terms of people that you're able to meet or interact with, in terms of traveling arrangements, in terms of just work, career, purpose opportunities, fun, vacation, whatever it is. There are going to be a lot of different opportunities. Some of you, I heard that you're going to even have opportunities for like furthering your education or things that you're going to be able, that you would typically have to pay for. You're going to be able to, it's like, get a free ride. I'm like scholarship type energy. Invitation, like people have to apply to this, people have to pay for this, and you get invited to be able to do it free of charge. Take it there. Fear doesn't need to be a factor for you. Fear is not a factor for you. And in fact, it's so long as you continue to bask in that love in which you are, you're going to see that fear just doesn't reside. Almighty gave us a spirit of, not of fear, but of power, love, and self-control. A sound mind. Some of you, again, this is another message that we've been talking about. You've been being led to do something in particular. There's something that you know that it's like you should do, and you've been putting it off, you've been procrastinating on it. Don't let that fear stop you. Go ahead and do it. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Put the pen to paper. Put one foot in front of the other. Go pick up that brick. Do what needs to be done. What a lot of you don't realize is there's something in particular that you've been led to do. And this is the last missing piece that is going to bring everything that you've been trying to pursue in your life together. This is the last missing piece that puts the harvest in full effect. This is a year to, move as you're being led to move. Allow and do. This is also going to be a year where you're going to see that you are led to do particular things and take action. You're also going to be, it's like you're equally going to be led to rest and allow things to happen as you are going to be led to do things and make moves and take the will. And it's about being comfortable with that and being able to easily go back and forth between those two roles. Whatever you're being led to do, whatever you feel inside of your heart that you want to do, you're fully supported. You're fully supported. If you knew that everything would work out for you, if you knew that things would go in your favor, if you knew you had the Midas touch, if you knew that everything you do in this year, in this time will turn to gold, then I ask you to ask yourself, what would you do? What would you do if you knew that whatever you pursued would work out and go exactly above and beyond what even you expected for it to be able to? You're moving into a time where I'm telling you, you're going to have so much help. So many people in your life who are just meant to be there. Like, you're moving into an easier stage of life where it's going to just feel effortless, where it's going to flow. Only thing you need to continue to do is focus on the positive. Even like I said, when things are feeling shaky or you having one of those days, just push through it. Just realize, like, it's just one of those days, but it's okay. I can rest. I can be easy on myself. I know that things are working out for me. I've been given the gift of eternal life, for one. And this illusion that we live in, this is temporary. So I don't need to get myself worked up about anything. This too shall pass, and it's already passing in a very major way. You're going to see that guarded nature, that shield that you built around yourself, that wall that you built around yourself to protect you in this world, as you were vulnerable, as you were who you are, and you realize that being who you were led to hurt, led to pain, led to shame, you're going to realize that wall is getting ready to fall away. You're going to find yourself very playful, very energetic, just free going, happy go lucky person. Okay? Always ready to celebrate. You're going to find yourself not even taking things seriously. Things that might at one point in time have triggered you or made you feel away. These things are going to make you laugh. Even some of your insecurities that you thought and felt were going to be long-term, lifelong insecurities, you're going to see even some of the insecurities that you've been carrying around with you lift away, to where it's like people that say things you can't even be triggered. If anything, it makes you laugh. You'll be able to crack on yourself and not feel no type of way. Like, seriously, because of the level of healing that you're experiencing, and because you, when you experience love in a certain way, family, even, sometimes, like, to give an analogy here, they'll say the woman or the girl who doesn't have a father or the love of a father looks for love in all the wrong places. And, has certain insecurities that leads to more insecurities and leads to the type of relationships that makes you feel even more insecure on top of those insecurities. But then you have a one, or the type of woman or the type of girl who did have that love and has a different type of internal and emotional stability and security, because that there was never a void there that needed to be full or filled. And that void that you had due to your past, this is being filled and fulfilled in this lifetime. This is something that's happening inside of you, and this is because you're receiving direct love from your true father. And it's something that is filling you, something that's going to permeate every aspect of your life, every aspect of your being. Another thing I want to say here is, and like I said, this message has been continual. You have somebody who loves you already in your life, or somebody who's coming into your life that is going to also be an external representation of this type of love. Somebody who literally lives for you. Somebody who wears their heart on their sleeve for you. Somebody who does everything that they do it for you. Somebody who genuinely, family, for lack of better words, loves you. And the thing about this is, you're meant to have this person in your life. You're meant to yoke with this person. But you're also always meant to keep a certain level of independence. And what I mean by that independence is the greater perspective on your purpose, the greater perspective on your relationship with the divine and what you came here to do. And as long as you keep that independence, to where you keep the Most High first, you keep your purpose first above and beyond all things, you're going to see that any type of love, any type of person that comes to your life is just going to add to you. It's going to be very beneficial, and it's going to feel like you're having an interdependent relationship. Not that you have to sacrifice your purpose to be under anybody's shadow. Even for my women, you're not going to have to be the type of, it's a lot of foolish rhetoric that's been going on in the past years, but you're not going to have to be the type of woman that has no life and has no value outside of her husband. man and woman are different, but there's still equality there. This is why we talk about being equally yoked. So you're going to be able to live your life and have your life as it was destined for you to have it, alongside somebody who genuinely loves you, appreciates you, and respects you, and doesn't try to change your destiny or prevent you from pursuing it. Another thing that I want to say here that I have to say before I end this message is money, 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 money. Money. It's happening. Y'all know I try to stay away from talking about that because, if you've made it this far, then I already know that's not your concern, right? You've evolved beyond that point. You outside the matrix. Even if you were given $1 million tomorrow, for some of you, it's like you're still gonna be who you are. Many of you who this part of the message is truly for, you don't even necessarily have like a desire for that. You don't even spend your time trying to, visualize and create these material things. You're not attached to anything in this material realm. Some of you are at the point in your life where you could really care less. Some of you have experienced certain levels of material success and prosperity in the past and have even been now, and it just doesn't move you. For those of you, when I tell you you're about to step into finances in a way that it's like it's so funny that when you literally don't care about certain stuff, it's just so funny, that relationship with not caring and and it just flowing into your life. This is the same thing we talked about love. For some of you who I'm talking about with these true love relationships that are coming in, you're not even concerned about that. And this is why you're gonna have somebody in your life who genuinely truly loves you and is authentic to you. Some of you have some more healing to do before you can recognize it. Some of you have this person in your life, but you don't fully recognize it and you're not able to fully receive it, and you're still in your mind about it because there's still a certain amount of healing that you need to do before you're able to recognize that, yes, this is for you. You deserve it. Yes, they love you. You are worthy of love. It's hard to receive love when you have a deep down feeling or perspective, a subconscious program that tells you you don't deserve love. So then when it comes, it's like your mind fights against it, your body fights against it. But some of you have this person in your life, and as you continue to heal throughout this year and focus on the positive, you're going to be able to fully embrace and see this, and you're going to have a great, partnership with this person. Okay. Y'all are both going to have the things that y'all are particularly led to do, but y'all are going to still be going up together, if that makes sense. Might not be a person where y'all do the exact same thing, but it's going to go together, and y'all are still going to be able to flow together in the midst of your independent purposes. You're going to be sitting on your financial throne by the end of this year. Before we even get to end of year, we're talking about even mid-year, June, July, there's going to be significant improvements in your financial situation. You're going to have a lot of options at hand, a lot of things that you're able to do due to your financial freedom and prosperity and abundance that flows towards you. You're going to have a very happy family as well, whether it just consists of you and another person, whether it consists of you and soul family, whether it consists of you creating a family with another person, children, and things of that nature. Whatever the nature of your family is, you're going to have a family that you feel is a family of your own, a family that you can call home. Okay. This is a year that you're going to be led to action that feels so good, but it's not going to deplete you. It's going to enrich you. It's going to nourish you. And this is going to be a year for those of you who felt like, man, when am I going to get time? When am I going to get a break? This is going to be that year where it's almost like you can finally rest. You can finally rest because everything is going to happen around you and for you. And again, in some of the most unorthodox ways. You're getting ready to be a part of something or create something that is outside of the box and outside of this world. And it's going to change your life in a way and change your destiny in a way that you never thought you would see in this lifetime. Trust God, trust the Most High, trust the divine, relax, continue to accept love, receive love, be love, and let your heart be free. You're wise now. You're not gullible. You're not dumb. You're not naive. You know the nature of people, places, situations, and things. But everything that you're doing and everything that you're being at this point is very deliberate. And it comes from a place of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Best believe your results with being who you are going to be a lot different this time around. I love y'all so very much. Have a great day, week, weekend, evening, month, year, wherever you are. Until next time, peace.